Hey, hello boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to this live stream by TalentSprint. I hope all of you are healthy and your preparation for the IBPS PO preliminary examination, which is scheduled to begin from the 7th of October, is in full swing. Today is 30th August 2017. What do you think is the importance of this day? Well, in my view, every day is important because it comes only once in a year, right? I mean, 30th August, the importance is that it comes only once in a year. So this is a special day. But then 30th August has got some importance, right? It is the 242nd day of the year. Yeah, we are 242 days into the year 2017 already. And there are just 123 days left for the year to get over. Well, that's not really exciting. I mean, you might be wondering, how is this going to help me in my IBPS PO examination, right? Talk about something that will help me. Yeah, so that's not really useful, right? 242nd day of the year and 123 more days to go. Yeah, not useful. But then, interestingly, today is a Wednesday. Well, 30th August and Wednesday is rarest of the combinations. Yes, now this is interesting. Again, may not be useful for your IBPS PO preliminary examination, but definitely an interesting point. The point is that it is rare or highly rare for the 30th August of a year to fall on a Wednesday, right? So if you look at 400 years at a stretch, right? If you look at a span of 400 years, this particular date, 30th August, is most likely to occur on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Sunday, and least likely to come on a Monday or a Wednesday. So I think we are on a Wednesday and the date today is 30th August. So we are like on one of the rarest combinations possible in terms of calendars. Interesting? Well, I don't know. I mean, this is definitely interesting for me, but I'm sure you might be wondering ki ye kya bakwas ho rahi hai, right? How is this going to help me in my IBPS PO preliminary examination? Yes, this also is not very useful for your IBPS PO preliminary examination. Then what is the importance of 30th August? Well, what I'm going to tell you now is definitely going to have an impact on your IBPS PO preliminary examination. 30th August is just 38 days away from the 7th of October. Now, what is the importance of 7th of October? Well, don't tell me the serial number of the day and again likeliness of a Wednesday or a Thursday. 7th of October is your IBPS PO preliminary examination, right? The tentative date, and it is the first slot on which the IBPS PO 2017 exam will be conducted. So if you look at 30th August and see how far is it from 7th of October, just 38 days or roughly about 900 hours, right? 38 days times 24 will be what? 760 plus 152, right? 912 hours. So roughly about 900 hours. You have only 900 hours left to prepare the best possible for your IBPS PO preliminary examination. And I'm sure you are taking all the efforts and leaving no stone unturned, and you will make the best use of these remaining 900 hours so that you can maximize your chances of selection in the IBPS PO preliminary examination. Yes? So just 900 hours and the countdown has begun in my view. If not in terms of hours, definitely in terms of the number of days, right? So 38 days to go for the toughest competition of the year in our country, right? The IBPS PO preliminary examination. Only one in 600 students is expected to get this job, right? So be fully prepared and be prepared for the worst. Now let's get to the point. What are we going to discuss today? Well, yet another interesting concept from quantitative aptitude that will add value to your preparation and can help you score more marks in your examination, right? If not more marks, it will definitely help you save your precious time in the examination while solving a particular type of question. And that question type is about how to find the average of a group when a particular person is included in the group or a particular person is excluded from the group. Now, this is a very popular question type from the topic of average. Now, I'm sure your immediate reaction will be the type of questions that are being asked these days have changed. So why are we discussing such a simple question type? Well, yes, the type of questions these days have changed, right? We are getting more and more complex questions, time-consuming questions which are not very straight, and things like that. But then the concepts are all very important, right? Average as a concept would be very, very useful. Whether it is a simple question or a complex question, the basic idea would remain the same. And this concept that I'm going to discuss today is definitely very powerful in solving questions related to averages, right? So what are we going to discuss today is about how to get the average of a group when a particular person is included into the group or a particular person is excluded from the group, right? Somebody said that I should also speak in Hindi. Deepak Mishra. Deepak, I will try to speak in both English and Hindi, like you've said. Maybe जब हम concept discuss करेंगे, I'll explain that in Hindi as well. Yeah, so don't worry about it. And anyways, even if you don't follow this live stream that we are doing, all our videos in the TalentSprint program are available both in English and Hindi. So there you have the advantage, right? वहाँ पर आप जो वीडियो चाहे हिंदी या इंग्लिश दोनों ही लैंग्वेजेस में देख सकते हैं. Anyway, so back to the point about averages. Now tell me, what is average? Your answer would be sum of all the values by number of values, right? Sum of all the observations by number of observations, right? Or sum of all the terms by number of terms. Well, yes. But don't you think even a 4th standard student would give me the same answer? If at all it's taught in the 4th standard, I don't remember, but at least a 7th standard student would say that yes, average is equal to sum of all the values by number of values. The formula is correct. But can this be the best way to solve the question in your competitive exam? Not really. If you want to solve questions on averages in a smart way, you have to change the way you look at this whole concept of average. So while the formula is sum of all the observations by number of observations or sum of all the values by number of values, the concept of average is equal distribution. What average means is to distribute equally, right? Like for example, we say that the average average, let's say average age of a group of persons is 14 years. The average age of a group of 8 persons is 14 years. So there's a group of 8 persons, average age is 14 years. What does it mean? In simple understanding, it means that each of these 8 persons is 14 years old. While the actual case may not be the same. There will be some persons who are older than 14 years, some persons who are younger than 14 years, some may be equal to 14 years. But when you're solving the questions, as a concept, you can assume that it means each person is 14 years old. Equal distribution. So basically it means if I collect the age from each of these persons, if I collect the number of years from each of these persons, sum it up and then divide it equally among all the 8, each one would get 14 years. Or to make this concept slightly more easier to understand, let's talk about money and not age. The average amount of money with 8 persons is 14 rupees. There are 8 persons, the average is 14 rupees. What does it mean? If I distribute the total amount equally among 8 persons, if I collect everything from each of these 8 persons, whatever they have, and then divide it equally among these 8, each person would get 14 rupees. In the real case, some persons may have more than 14 rupees, some may have less than 14 rupees, some may have equal to 14 rupees. But yes, on paper, I can say each person has got 14 rupees. So basically, understand that the concept is equal distribution. Average means equal distribution. Right? The moment you hear the term average, you should understand that it is about equal distribution, right? Equal distribution. Now, if you can get this thoroughly, I mean, I'm not getting into the details of this. You can watch our videos and learn the various concepts, various other classical laws related to average. I mean, this is one fundamental concept, that is an equal distribution. But there are things like if each term is increased by 5, average increases by 5. If each term is reduced by 3, average reduces by 3. If each term is multiplied by 7, average gets multiplied by 7. If each term is divided by 19, average gets divided by 19. So basically the law says that, the mathematical law says that if each term or each observation or each value is added or subtracted or multiplied or divided by x, the impact on average would also be the same. The average also will get added or subtracted or multiplied or divided by x respectively. So these are like various things that you need to know so that you can solve the questions easily. Right? Now, assuming that you have this basic understanding of average and assuming that you have now understood that average is an equal distribution, let me explain you how to solve these questions based on groups. A person is added into a group or a person is excluded from the group without doing much of paperwork. Right? So let me share my screen now, write a question for you all, and then discuss the smart solution, right? So here we go. I hope you're able to see the screen here. Now let me write a question here. Yeah, it's a blank screen. I'm just putting up the question now. So what are we going to discuss here? Average when a person is included or let's say excluded. It works in both the cases, right? Included into a group or excluded from a group of persons. I mean, this is a very popular question type in bank exams, or at least used to be a very popular question type in bank and SSC exams, right? So average when a person is included into a group, or average when a person is excluded from a group, right? So let me give you a question directly, right? Let's say the question is as follows. The average age of 42 students in a class and their teacher is, let's say, 12 years, yeah, some value there. So basically it says there are 42 students in a class and there's a teacher. Average age of all these persons is 12 years. Now when the teacher is excluded from the group, let's say when the teacher is excluded from this group, when the teacher excluded from the group, the average age reduces by, how much will we take? Let's say average age reduces by, what do we take, 12 years? So I think reduces by 1, right, by 1 year. And now the question is, find the age of the teacher. Alright, so that's the question. Find the age of the teacher. I think I should not be using a question mark here. Yeah, so here's the question. The average age of 42 students in a class and their teacher is 12 years. When the teacher is excluded from the group, the average age reduces by 1 year. Find the age of the teacher. Now the question is on your screen. I will leave you with this for 45 seconds and I'm sure all of you would get the right answer. But what is important is not the answer, but how quickly and how smartly did you arrive at that answer. I'm not giving you any options here. I would wait for you all to respond. So 1 minute is what you have, 45 seconds to 60 seconds is what you have, and your clock starts now. I can also see some people have joined the chat. Shashank Raj, Anil Shivakumar, they've mentioned good evening. Good evening guys, welcome to this live stream. We have Sai Sri who has marked the answer as 31. Okay, so one response from Sai Sri, which is 31. Shashank, yeah. Hello Rahul. And we have someone who says tell how to manage RRB and IBPS times on weekends. Well, we'll discuss about these things in our sessions in future. Yeah? We have Vamshi here, Ravi Gaud, Shikha Sinha, and others. Good. So good to see you all. I think only 2 responses so far, both of which say that the answer should be 31 years, right? Shruti has got 31 and so has Sai Sri. I'm waiting for a few more responses before we look at the solution. Yeah, Javed Malik has got 31 and there's one person whose name here is in Telugu. I'm not able to read that. That also says 31 and yeah. So I think 4 responses so far. Each one says it's 4. Shashank Raj has also got 31. I want you guys to be sure about your answer, right? 31. Rahul Pathak, Shashank Raj. Looks like everybody's got the same answer, 31. Must be the correct answer then, yeah? The average age of 42 students in a class and the teacher is 12 years. When the teacher is excluded from the group, the average age reduces by 1 year. The average age reduces by 1 year. Find the age of the teacher. Find the age of the teacher, right? Okay, so I think 31 is what most of you had marked, including Kanaga Sabapati. But then Shikha Sinha says that it should be 53. Now, there's a change in the answer now. 31 has been changed to 53. Okay, so I think most of you have got 31, including Deena, except Shikha who's got 53. I would now take this up and discuss the solution with you all. I'm not sure which of these 2 answers are correct, or actually if you have got the right answer, right? But clearly the majority has got 31. So let's see if you are fully ready for your IBPS PO exam, and that we will figure out towards the end of the solution, right? If 31 comes out to be the answer, I'll be glad that most of you have got it right and you are ready. Let's see. So here we go. The question reads the average age of 42 students in a class and their teacher is 12 years, right? So 42 students and teacher, their average age is 12 years. Yeah, 42 students in a class and one teacher, the average age is 12 years. When the teacher is excluded from the group, when the teacher is removed from the group, the average age reduces by 1 year. It reduces by 1 year. Find the age of the teacher. Now, as such a very easy question to solve, right? I mean, like 2 steps and you will get the answer. How many persons are there initially? There are 2 cases. There is one group initially and then there is a reduced group after that because teacher is excluded, right? So one group has got students and the teacher. The other group has got only the students. Teacher is excluded, right? So initially how many persons are there? 42 students plus 1 teacher, right? So total how many? 43 persons. 43 persons. Yeah. And their average is 12 years. And their average age is 12 years. So 43 persons at 12 years of age. I mean average age of 12 years. Now when the teacher is excluded, if teacher is removed, there will be only 42 persons. When the teacher is removed from the group, now teacher is not being considered, only 42 students, teacher is removed. So 42 persons and their average becomes what? See, their average reduces by 1 year. So it becomes 12 minus 1, which is 11 years, right? So 43 persons, average age is 12 years, 42 persons, their average age is 11 years. He's asking us to find the age of the teacher. What is the age of the teacher? Find the age of the teacher is the question. Now you know the formula, right? I mean, if you go by the formula, what is the formula? Average is equal to sum of all the values by the number of values. Sum of all the values by number of values. So I can say that the sum of the values, right, the total of all the values is equal to the average into the number of persons or number of observations, right? Average into the number of persons. Yeah. So what we are going to do now here is, in each case we know the number of persons, which is nothing but the number of values, and we also know the average. So let's find out the sum. So here the sum of the ages of 42 students plus 1 teacher is equal to what? 43 into 12. Right? Average multiplied by the number of people, or number of people multiplied by average. 43 into 12. What is 43 into 12? 430 plus 86. 430 plus 86 is 516. Yeah. Look at the next group. In the next group, the sum of the ages of 42 students. Teacher is not there in this group. Sum of the ages of 42 students will be what? Average into the number of students, right? Or number of students, 42 into their average is 11. 42 into 11. What is 42 times 11? 420 plus 42, which is 462. So there is one group where the total is 516 years, another group where the total is 462 years. The difference in these two groups is nothing. I mean, the difference in these two groups has come because of the teacher. Yes or no? If you subtract these two, what do we get? This 42 students get cancelled. We will get the teacher's age, T, is equal to what? 516 minus 462. 516 minus 462 is 38 plus 16. 38 plus 16 is 54. 54 years is the answer. Unfortunately, all your answers are wrong. All your answers are wrong. Most of you marked 31. I don't know how did you arrive at 31 in the first place. And then a couple of you have got 53, which also is wrong. The correct answer comes out to be 54, right? 43 times 12, 42 students and 1 teacher, 43 persons. 12 years is the average. So total comes out to be 43 into 12. 43 into 12 is what? 430 plus 86, which is 516. Then when the teacher is excluded, there are only 42 persons left in the group. 42 persons at an average age of 11 years, right? Age reduces by 1 year. Average age reduces by 1 year. So 42 into 11, which is 420 plus 42, 462. The difference of these two, 516 minus 462, how much is that? It's like 40 plus 14, right? 40 plus 14, 54 years. The teacher's age should be 54 years. And most of you, like you can see it yourself, got the wrong answer. It is 54 and not 31 or 53. So guys, you have to pull your socks up. Clearly, you are going wrong even in the basics of these topics, right? This is a simple question. You cannot expect a question easier than this in the exam. However, having done the solution, let us now look at the smart way of solving the same question, right? We have discussed the regular method, not regular method. In fact, see, don't go by the length of the solution. This method is not lengthy. This also is very quick. I mean, you don't have to write all these steps on paper, right? You don't have to write 42 students plus 1 teacher, 43 persons at 12 years and all that. Similarly, 42, everything that is highlighted in red can be avoided. All you have to put on paper is just the numbers. Don't write the formula and all and waste your time. Yeah, you won't be awarded extra marks for this. So I think the only steps that you put on paper should be whatever that is being highlighted in green here. Yeah, I think these are the only steps that you have to put on paper. That's the answer. Only numbers. And if you can do the calculations mentally, even this is not needed. Yeah, even this need not be put on paper. 43 times 12, 42 times 12, the difference 54. Yes, is your answer. Now, let's look at the smart way of solving the question, right? Smarter way of getting the answer. I'll explain that in a different ink. Yeah. So smart method of answering the question. How do you do that? You don't have to do all this calculation at all. You just don't have to do all this calculation. What do we do in the smart method? See, according to the first group, where we have 43 persons, the average is 12 years. Now, going by the concept of equal distribution, I told you average is nothing but equal distribution, right? Average is equal distribution. Yeah, average is equal distribution. So going by that concept, I can say that there are 43 persons. Each one of them have got 12 rupees. Let's convert this to rupees so that it becomes easier to understand. So 43 persons, each one of them have got 12 rupees. So how many 12 rupees do we have? 43 times. 12, 12, 12 and so on. 43 times. Yes or no? 43 times. What happens when the teacher goes out? Average reduces by 1. One person is reduced and average also is reduced by 1. So now each person has lost 1 rupee. Earlier each one of them had 12 rupees, but now each person has lost 1 rupee. So how much will they have? 11 rupees. Each person would have 11 rupees. And how many such 11 rupees? 42 times only. Remember, one person has gone out, so only 42 times now. So this is what you need to understand. I mean, you don't have to write this step on paper again. Understanding is that there were 43 sets of 12 rupees, which has become 42 sets of 11 rupees after the teacher was excluded. Now, what do you understand really from this? When the teacher moved out, see, when the teacher moved out, the teacher took his or her 12 rupees. See, everybody had 12 rupees. In this group of 43 persons, each person had 12 rupees. So teacher left the group. So when teacher left the group, she or he left with her 12 rupees, her or his 12 rupees. So she had or he had 12 rupees already. Plus, if you observe, while going, the teacher collected 1 rupee from each of these persons. Each of these persons has lost 1 rupee, right? Loss as in what? They did not lose it. They gave it to the teacher. It should be balanced. It cannot go anywhere, right? It has gone with the teacher. So while the teacher was leaving, teacher collected 1 rupee from each of these 12 persons. Each of these 42 students. 1 rupee was collected from each of the 42 students. So what will the teacher get? Overall collection 1 into 42. She collected 1 rupee from each of the students. There were 42 students. Don't take 43. There were only 42 students. While leaving, she left with 12 rupees. Her 12 rupees as it is, and she collected 1 rupee from. I'm assuming the teacher is a female, right? For no obvious reason, just to avoid that he and she always. So teacher, while leaving, she collected her 12 rupees. I mean, she had her 12 rupees and she collected 1 rupee from each of the 42 students. So what's the total amount the teacher has? 12 plus 42, which is 54. And that's your answer. That's your answer. Now look at this solution. Look at this. Compare this with the previous solution. Smart, right? Let me highlight this. I mean, you just have to put one number on, and that also is not needed. I mean, this calculation is, I'm sure, a lot easier than what we have done in the previous question, right? What you have to do is simply 12 plus 1 into 42. Yes or no? 12 plus 1 into 42. Each student gave 1 rupee to the teacher. So there were 42 students. Teacher already had 12 rupees. So total becomes 54. So whatever is highlighted in yellow here is what we need to do to get the answer. Smart. Very easy and simple way to get the answer. Now very quickly, let me explain you one more question. The same question but with different values, right? So I'll do one thing. I'll change the values. Let's see what happens. And you don't have to do all this drama in the exam, right? 12, 12, 12, 12, 43 times, 11, 11, 11, 11, 42 times. Don't do all that. Yeah. So I'm clearing it up. Let's just take one more example. See what happens. And I'm sure now you'll be able to answer the question a lot easier. I mean, a lot faster, definitely. Yeah. So just take up some values. Like for example, let's say the average age of 59 students in a class, and the teacher is 13 years. When the teacher left the group, the average reduced by 1 year or 2 years. Doesn't matter. 2 years. Let's say 2 years. What happens? So there were 59 students in a class, and there is a teacher. Their average is 13 years. When the teacher left the group, the average reduced by 2 years. Find the age of the teacher. How do you find the age of the teacher? Simple.
Earlier there are 60 persons, 59 plus 1 teacher, 60 persons, each one had 13 years. Teacher left. So when the teacher left, she had her 13 rupees in her hands. Yes or no? She had her 13 rupees in the hands. Plus, see, average reduced by 2 years. She collected 2 rupees. 2 rupees from how many people? From 59 people. That's your answer. 2 into 59. 2 into 59 is 118. 118 plus 13, 131. So the teacher is 131 years old. I mean, no such teacher exists on the planet. 131 years is like not a, not a appropriate age, but yeah, doesn't matter. In terms of number, on paper, everything is valid. Yeah. So that's the answer. You don't even have to do any multiplication. 60 into 13, 59 into 11, all that is not needed. Simple. Teacher left with 13 rupees. She collected 2 rupees from 59 students, from each of the 59 students. So total collection is 59 into 118. 118 plus 13 rupees, which she already had. 118 plus 13 is 131. And that's your answer. So I think in about 5 seconds, you can solve the question. Not more than that. 5 seconds, you get the answer as 131. Somebody has marked the answer as 129. Rahul, I am sure that you have followed the smart method this time, because you got the answer really quick, but something went wrong in your calculation. So try to be accurate, right? I'm sure you'll get this. Similarly, what happens in the teacher is included in the group. Same process. Teacher is included in the group. Average will increase in that case. Usually teacher's age is much more than the student's age, right? So average increases. In that case, what happens? So when the teacher is included in the group, the average increases and become, let's say, from 12 it becomes 13. So teacher has 13 and she gave 1 year to each of the 42 students. So 42 plus 13. You understand? This is how you just add these two numbers and you get the answer. Yeah. Practice a couple of more questions, both inclusion, exclusion, and I'm sure you will get the smart way of solving this question. Now, I thought it is a really simple question, and some of you will be like, why are we discussing this? Not relevant for IBPS PO these days anymore. But I'm disappointed that you all got the wrong answer, right? How did you get 31? What made you get 31? And it's not 1 or 2, right? Most of you marked 31 as the answer. Not done, right? You have to practice harder, right? Basic question from average. Anyway, my intent is not to discourage you. It's only to, trying to throw some light on your status, right? Open your eyes now and get started. You can't delay it anymore. It's high time that you just focus on your IBPS PO prelims exam and do the best possible in these 38 days left, so that you can maximize your chances of selection. All right. I hope all of you have enjoyed this. I'm sure this concept will be useful somewhere or the other in your examination or in some other examination. So trust this has added value to your learning. If you want to know all such concepts, there are like 1038 videos available in our online program for bank exams or for IBPS exams. You can explore about those programs on talentsprint.com and see if you find it interesting, right? Anyway, irrespective of whether you enroll for the program or not, my sincere advice to all of you is to practice and more practice, right? The only way to succeed in these exams is to practice more, right? Practice is the key to success. So keep practicing and take very good care of yourselves. I'll see you all in the next session tomorrow at the same time, right? Around the same time. Take care.